So I wanted to talk to you all about minimum wage and how realistic it currently is. This is going to be about how a living wage works in the United States. With the help of my chat, hopefully, we are going to actually have a bit of a dialogue about how much it costs to live currently, and we're going to see if the United States minimum wage, which, let's be clear, should be the minimum wage it takes to survive. These should be the survival wages of the United States. Not thriving wages, not you're living comfortably, but you can function reasonably without digging yourself so far in debt that you have it spewing out your nose. But before we get into that, let's do some fan art. This one is from Axolotls with Cream. They said, bar friend. I used Rhino's joke idea about the bar friend and how he would look like and turn him into a cowboy, literally. I don't like them Democrats trying to vaccinate our guns! With a Donald Trump Matters shirt. I am so glad I haven't seen him on Tuesdays. I am so glad that I have basically managed to avoid that dude for months now. Life's great. As always, thank you for your fan art submission. If you want your fan art to be shown in a future video, drop it into the fan art section of the Discord. But with that said, let's go ahead and take a look at minimum wage and where we are at right now. So, as of 2017, 51.2% of workers 25 years and older are earning minimum wage. This is important as many employers are faced with the fact that the mandated minimum wage isn't necessarily a living wage. With the growing need for small and medium-sized companies to stay compliant and abreast of the rules that impact wage policies and compensation packages, employers need to understand the minimum wage by state and how it will change their labor landscape. Alrighty, so let's see here right now. We are going to check what is the minimum wage in Georgia. The minimum wage in Georgia is $7.25 per hour. So let's say, for instance, that you are a Georgia resident and you are making $7.25. Now, with a 40-hour work week, that means you have $290 at the end of the work week. That's a lot of money. That is a certain amazing thing, being able to have a guaranteed paycheck every week. Let's multiply that by 4 for the 4 weeks that you'll be working this month. That's 28 days of work. You know, you've got off days, but we have that multiplied by 4. Cool. $1,160 by the end of the work month. You've earned it. But wait, taxes, you say? Hold on. 12.5% of this is going to go away to taxes. So let's figure out what that number would be. So we multiply that by 0.12. So $140 are gone from your amount. So you had $1,160, and now you've lost $140 of that to taxes. Okay, $1,020. This is still a reasonable amount for you to have. Let's see here. Let's go... Cartersville. Cartersville's a reasonably low-income area. Cartersville Apartments Zillow. Let's take a look here. Okay. We want apartments, and let's just say it's let's just say a studio. Studio apartments. Huh. Let's sort this by low to high. What? Hold on a second. But the minimum wage is $1,020 after the taxes. Are you telling me that the cheapest studio that you can get? Well, it's okay. We'll just take $925 out of that. Cool. So you've got yourself an apartment. You have $95 left to feed yourself for the entire month. Oh, but we forgot. You've got other things to worry about, like power and internet and transportation. Let's say you've got a car. Let's say somehow magically you paid for the car outright. So all you have to worry about is insurance. Let's put in how much my insurance costs me. $150 a month. Oh, that's not good. You got negative $55. And you don't have internet, and you don't have a phone, which is a requirement in today's society. You don't have power at all. You don't have food. Well, that's fucking interesting. So, what are you supposed to do here? What are you supposed to do in this particular situation? How are you supposed to survive? Because right now, that apartment right there, you can't afford it. You can't afford that. You can't afford food. You can't afford transportation. You can't afford shit. And you defend this system? You think this is okay? Now, I hear from some people, oh, well, that's because the minimum wage is what you're supposed to have for a starting job. Let me see here. Okay. So let's look up what the purpose of the minimum wage is real quick. Minimum wage shields workers from unreasonably low compensation. It prevents employees from exploiting their workers. Minimum wage provides enough income, which enables workers to have enough money for food, shelter, and clothing. Excuse me? That's really weird. I'm pretty sure I just read that the minimum wage is supposed to provide enough for food, shelter, and clothing. But I'm also fairly certain that we just mathed out here that just the shelter and just the transportation needed to get to the fucking job. You haven't even paid for gas yet. That's negative $55. How are you supposed to survive at that point? What are you supposed to do? But are there parking spots that are there that make more than minimum wage? Are there parking spots that make more than minimum wage? What do you mean parking spots that make more? So even with welfare programs, it's negative. And the thing about welfare programs is they should be there for people who need it, but they shouldn't be there for everybody. Not in our current system. We should have a universal basic income, which is functionally a welfare program, but we don't have that. So in our current system, welfare is supposed to be there for everybody who needs it. Unfortunately, that currently is everyone. That's everyone. So let's see what this number is supposed to be, right? Let's see what this number is supposed to be. Because apparently the purpose of the minimum wage is to stabilize the post-depression economy and protect workers and the labor force. But it doesn't do that anymore. Obviously, it doesn't do that anymore. It can't do that anymore. We are long past the point where it does that. So, you and me, we are going to very quickly take a look at the minimum wage through a realistic lens. Let's calculate what it should cost to live. So we know that apartment, the cheapest one we could find, was $950, and that was in Cartersville. Cartersville is basically a drug town. It's not a high-end area. High-end areas in the Atlanta area are Atlanta itself, Marietta, like fucking Savannah. Those are high-end areas. Fucking Cartersville is not high-end. So we need $950 to start. That is just for the shelter. Cool. We've got that part settled. Now, what other things do we need to survive? Anybody in chat want to throw a few things at us that we need to survive here? Let's see here. Your phone. Let's go ahead and see here. So for my phone, but I pay for me and Saki, it's $126 right now. It used to be much higher, because I was supporting more people on my phone plan than I needed to be. But let's go ahead and say, right now, phone-wise, you're just getting it for you, and you're getting, like, a straight talk plan. That's $35. Cool. That's $35 a month for that phone plan, which, again, is a necessity to survive. Air conditioning. Yes, that is a necessity, but air conditioning is not a bill. Electricity is a bill. So let's talk about electricity in the United States right now. I'm going to go ahead and pull up my kilowatt hours to show you what electricity costs where I live. Let me see here. GA power. If you remember the last time we did this, we found that this was really fucking nuts. Really fucking nuts. Said seconded on Ace. You pay how much for air conditioning? I pay $340 a month. That's how much I pay for air conditioning and various electricity. I don't know why it's that high, but it is that high, and it's on a flat amount, so it doesn't go down when I do less. I also love how Southern Company is not actually letting me log into my account right now. It's just kind of showing me blank right here. That's great. Tappert says I pay under $100 most months. Yeah. Boy, I wish I paid that little. I sincerely wish I did, but no. It's not letting me into my my account for some reason, which is just fantastic. So I guess we're just gonna have to go with the conservative estimate. Let's cut my current bill in half. My home is 1,000 square feet, and that's the bill that I have. But let's cut it in half. Well, more than cut it in half. Let's make it closer to what most people are probably expecting. $150. I wanted to do an accurate kilowatt hour assessment, but apparently Southern Company will not actually let me see my own bill now. Ah, there we go. There we go. Oh, that's cool. That's fun. That's what I like seeing. What the flying fuck? So, your past due bill amount is $373. Thank you for using Flat Bill. Beginning next month, it will now cost you $421. It will now cost you $421 for your power. $421? Georgia Power, you fucking okay? You fucking okay? You know what's funny about that? Let's take a look at my kilowatt hours. They must be basing it off of this moment right here, where in September, back when I had me living here, Saki living here, my roommate living here, and we had Arachne living here before we got her off to New Zealand. We used about $400 worth of kilowatt hours. So it's now telling me that it's always going to cost that. Ah, yeah, that's cool. That is just sweet. Isn't that just, that's so cool. But I guess, well, yeah, we'll take that average right here between 2 and 100. We sometimes bounce around there, but sure, let's... There are multiple days here where it was $100, but sure, we'll pay $400 a fucking month. Those are cool. Those are cool numbers. Okay. I guess as soon as we're done with this topic, I'm going to be seeing what I can do to get rid of the flat bill. Oh, I have to call to unenroll. I can't just do it from the website. That's cool. That's cool. And the flats are supposed to average? Yeah, no, it didn't average shit. It took the one highest day and said, yeah, all your days are going to cost that much. No, that was... I have overspent way overspent on this shit, apparently. That is so cool. Anyway, I guess I'll be calling them as soon as I'm done with this to figure that shit out. So, we've got your phone, we've got your power. What about internet? So, internet is usually about $100 a month where I am. So, let's go ahead and just put that in. Sometimes you get deals on it, but cool. That puts us at $1,235. Now, we've got car payment. We'll go ahead and call the car payment $250. Technically, you might not have a car payment, but you do have car repairs. Taproot says, are they your only service provider? Yeah, that's all you have here. Now let's say you've got groceries. Now, most people, for a house of two, spend about $300 in groceries. We'll go ahead and say $250 in groceries if you are just running around as a single person. Because we want you to have healthy groceries instead of just paying for ramen every fucking time. And that's it, if that's all you're doing. Okay, so we've gone phone, power, internet, car. We've got car insurance on here as well. No, we don't. We didn't have car insurance yet. We have to add car insurance. Again, my car insurance is $150, so let's go ahead and put the car insurance there too. Here are your bare minimums. Oh wait, we haven't factored in gas. Gas is about $40 a gallon here, and you probably have to fill up once a week, so let's go ahead and call that $150 in gas. All right. So what about health insurance? Well, health insurance right now, at a minimum, for a single person is about $350 a month. Generally speaking. You can use the marketplace to get a subsidized rate, but we're not going with government programs right now. We're going with base levels. So your health insurance is now $350 a month. Interesting. Look at that. 40 gallons of $40 a tank. Windchanter, $40 a tank. Sorry. You are right. $40 a tank. Yeah, that one. I can't speak. I can't speak. So, okay. Now, let's say that you have your health insurance. Let's say you've got some prescriptions you have to pay for. We'll add just a little bit, like $25 of prescriptions. Whatever that ends up being. So this is not counting in student loans or anything like that. Let's say you've got hobbies, because I'm sorry, you do need hobbies. You do need something that brings you joy. So we'll give you a budget of $100 a month to spend on a hobby. This is like you are able to drop a little bit of money. This is you bought a video game a month and went to the movies a month. You're living large, I guess. So there's your hobbies. What other expenses are there that you may need to worry about at this point? I think we've basically accounted for just about everything. That's cool. And yeah, a lot. Shadow Wolf says Beyblades is my hobby. Nice. Jessa says, my therapist says magic and going to my LGS is a necessity and it helps a lot. Yeah. Oh, right. Water. I'm on well water, so I'm used to water being paid for. But when I was on city water, it was about $50 a month for city water. So let's go ahead and say you've got city water. Ilaria Panda says, I need hobbies. I knew I was doing something wrong. Yeah, no, you need hobbies. Now let's say you've got 3 subscription services. We'll just say 3. Usually people have way more than that, but you've got, say, a gym membership for $25, Amazon Prime for $15, and we'll give you 1 streaming service. This is, I don't know. We'll go ahead and go with Netflix, so another $15 a month. I don't know what they're charging these days. So, there. That is the equivalent of what used to be a television bill. There's your power bill. There's your internet bill. There's a little bit for hobbies. There's your health insurance. All of that shit. Now, let's divide this by 4. So you should be making $653 a week to afford all of this after taxes. What does this look like when we divide this by 40? So, we are looking at a bare minimum survival rate of $16.35. But wait, we forgot the taxes. We need to add another 12, 13% onto here. So we'll go ahead and say, what's 12% of 16? Something like 1.4. So we're going to go ahead and add 1.4 to that. And here we have the basic survival wage. This is not a living wage, because if a single emergency happens, you are basically fucked. If you want to be able to afford an emergency, you're right, you need about 22 an hour. But if you don't have any emergencies and your life goes perfectly and you roll a natural 20 on every single move you make in your life, and you never go out to dinner even once, because I didn't even budget for that, then this is what you need. Say closer to $2, Suris? Oh yeah, you're probably right. My math is incorrect. My math is incorrect. So, plus 0.7. There. 1844. With my poor-ass math, this is what minimum wage should look like in Georgia. This is what you need at a bare minimum to survive. $18.50 an hour. That is for Cartersville, a low-ass income area in North Georgia. A city that I used to live in, so I know it is fucking low-ass income. This pays for your health insurance, this pays for your power, your groceries, your car insurance, and a tiny bit for hobbies, and absolutely none for going out and socializing with friends, getting food, or something like that. This is the bare minimum. And as of right now, the minimum wage is a little over 1/3 of this. And this is what people are expected to survive on. They are expected to survive off of 7.25 an hour. Now, there are some businesses that are getting a little more competitive and are starting to say, hey, we'll offer positions up to $12 an hour. $12 an hour. That's what a competitive business near me is offering. They have a big sign outside announcing it and everything. This is ignoring the fact that businesses actually get tax breaks by being understaffed. Currently, there's a tax loophole that a business can use where they can say, oh, we're understaffed all the time. We can't actually keep enough people in. So they'll constantly have ghost positions that are always open, and they're always hiring, but they never hire for those positions. So if you can even find a job at the competitive wage of $7 an hour lower than what you need to fucking survive, welcome to Georgia. Now, these numbers obviously are different depending on where you go in the United States, but this is the numbers that you can find for where I am at the moment. Now, I did a video years ago about this topic where I provided what a living wage would be. And a few years ago, it was like $21 and something, closer to 22 or 23 now. That video was based on the idea of somebody having a healthy enough wage to survive whatever they needed to do. They had enough to put aside for emergencies. They had enough to pay off a little bit for a student loan. They basically couldn't get into any kind of credit debt or anything. And this... Minute Rice says there's an understaffing loophole. Yes, there is. And this number is lower than that number because this number is based off of the barest of bare minimums. And there are people who complain about having to provide an amount of money even scratching the surface of what this number looks like for their employees. If you are a large corporation, this does not count for little mom and pop businesses where everybody takes a shit ton more hours than they can healthily handle so that they can just survive. This is for businesses, 50 employees and up. This is for places that can afford a yacht for the CEO. Those places, generally speaking, are not offering this much. Anubian says, does Georgia have an income tax? Yes, it does. So this isn't even factoring in the Georgia income tax. This isn't factoring that in. So let's say that you are one of those employers. Are you willing to offer your employees this much money as a bare minimum? Or are you just going to offer them competitive wages of $9 an hour? Let me know what you think in the comments section below. But, I said we would do a video on the minimum wage and why it's bullshit, and my math says it's bullshit. Now I need to call my power company. Insert end of video tagline here. Hey, I just quickly want to give a thank you to all of my wonderful patrons who keep this show running. YouTube and Twitch are a pretty bumpy ride at the best of times, and the stability a Patreon provides me is worth more than I can say here. I'd also like to thank each and every one of my $20 and up patrons here, and they would be Red Joker, Britzkrieg, Cameron, Dren, Jemshin, Smiling DM, Poundini, Mabbity Babbity, Naomi, Isaac, Nixie-chan, the Oberon team, Agamotto, Jordan, Ravi, Giuni, Kiratorian, Prisma, all of you, I'm not saying that part, and Starlight. And finally, thank you to everyone else that helps keep this channel alive. While you're here, why not check out another video? And thank you for watching.